Is Jon Jones returning in March? And if so, who is it going to be against, Chris Kamara? That's a little inside joke for us Brits. But hello everybody and welcome to Against the Fence. This is your latest UFC news with that real fan opinion. Yes, we're going to be talking about the return of Jon Jones. Is it going to be against two different heavyweights? Who knows? And we're also going to be talking about the UFC 286 card, which I believe should be in the UK. We've got a date for that. And we're going to be talking about one other fight announcement which got mentioned today. A few things I guess we got to go over. Well, there's no UFC event this weekend, is there? I mean, it's kind of a bit weird. We've had a lot of like little breaks, and I guess it's because it's Thanksgiving over in the US, which kind of makes sense, but you know, we've kind of, these past 2 months, we've had several little breaks, and I must say, here at ATF, we just don't really know what to do with ourselves. So I've decided to do a little bit of a news show for you guys, and hopefully we can bring you some more content throughout the week. So let's get into it then, I guess because the story came out earlier from MMA Junkie, and you know what, they kind of came out with a few things actually, which was quite surprising. Not like it's, you know, nothing against MMA Junkie. It's you know, normally the likes of Brett Okamoto or Ariel Helwani that kind of bring you these news. But yeah, let's get into it then. It kind of all, you know, this Jon Jones saga has been going on for so long now. I thought he was going to turn up this year. Thought we were going to expect to see him. Not being the case, you know, I think at the start or the end of last year, we kind of done a video of ones to watch, and you know, I kind of said I wouldn't mind the back end of 2022 we see Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane, but you know, maybe I'll have to bench that one for next year. But it all kind of started out where it's, you know, we had Francis Ngannou defeating Ciryl Gane back in January of 2022. Then he blew his knee out, announced that he's going to be out for a while, announced that, you know, he could potentially be looking at elsewhere because his contract was up with the UFC. Nothing has been said for all this time. Jon Jones has been ready to go. They've been trying to get him a fight with Stipe Miocic, but the negotiations have been unsuccessful. And Ngannou, who kind of wanted, and during that time, Ngannou's been kind of, you know, he's been on the mend. He's probably nearly ready to come back. And, you know, this is what the article from MMA Junkie's basically been saying, that it's likely, you know, Ngannou's been out for a long time. It's still up in the air. It's unclear who Jon Jones will fight. However, the UFC can't just sit around forever without offering Jones a fight. As of very recently, the penciled plan is to have him fight March 5th at UFC 285 in Vegas. So, looks like they're going to bypass the Stipe Miocic option. Yeah, no idea what has been holding that deal up. I'd imagine it's something to do with pay, which kind of is a little bit funny because, you know, I think with previous negotiations with Jon Jones in the UFC, it was always to do with pay, but Jon Jones is fit and ready to go. But look, it is what it is. Ngannou's getting healthy. And now there's a lot of talks over just Jon Jones going in against Francis Ngannou, which I wouldn't be surprised happens. However, there is a bit of an if to it. We're not entirely sure if he's completely fit. So, apparently, Curtis Blaydes might be an alternative option. If Francis Ngannou is not going to be fit in time. So, I guess the real question is, at this time, who's it going to be? Is Jon Jones going to be fighting Stipe? It's not Stipe. Is Jon Jones going to be fighting Francis Ngannou, or is he going to be fighting Curtis Blaydes? Which one would you guys rather see? You know, or which one do you think it's going to be out of the two? Personally, I'm a little bit skeptical about, yes, oi oi gorgeous, says Kajo. Yes, Kajo. Yeah, personally, I believe it's going to be Curtis Blaydes. I've got a feeling that Ngannou's not going to be completely ready. I think he's going to take his time. Probably get in a fight camp, maybe a long fight camp, I think would be ideal. I don't actually know where he's at the moment. If anyone's seen on Instagram of him training, and let us know in the chat or in the comments section below, you know, how he looks. How he looks. Is there any footage going on? Let me know. Yeah, and also, you know, if you want to see Francis Ngannou, hit a like on the video, of course. I mean, I would rather see Francis Ngannou, technically, because I actually think that's a more winnable fight for John Jones. But yeah, like I said, I've just got a feeling it's going to be Curtis Blaydes. You know, I in a way, Curtis Blaydes, I think, offers a lot of problems for John Jones, and I'm going to get into that in just a sec. Yes, Psycho Paul, welcome back, buddy. He says Jones versus Blaydes makes more sense as a comeback fight, and yes, I can see that. I can see that. Warm Jones into it. He has been out for some time. You know, Chikajo says you're taking everything I worked for, motherfucker. I'm coming for your ass next. I don't know if Kajo's shooting his own promo there. I wish I could get the chats on screen, but I'm running off of my own laptop today, so not everything's been put together at the moment. You know, bit of a new setup, as you can see. Well, we've tried this setup a few times actually, but we're fine tuning it. Hopefully, we could bring more news shows for you guys later on down the road. But anyhow, back into it. Yes, Ash says Jones versus Blaydes is very interesting. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think the Ngannou fight is a bit more of a winnable fight. I think it's a fight where Jones can easily out-wrestle Ngannou. And Jones is so good with his distance management. He's so good at not getting hit. All right, okay, you could ask Dominic Reyes about that scenario. But I think John Jones is able to avoid the big shots of Francis Ngannou and get him down in similar ways in which we saw Stipe Miocic get Francis Ngannou down. Blaydes' fight is a tougher fight because Blaydes has got that wrestling background. Not only that, it's also a worrying one for me because I think that Curtis Blaydes, yes, I'm saying this now, at heavyweight is going to be more athletic than John Jones. Okay, he's been used to the frame for so long. He's come from that wrestling background. The cardio advantage is kind of one that's up in the air. I'm not sure who I'd want to sway that one to. But yeah, I think Blaydes can cause problems for Jones. Jones, for me, in that fight, he would want to keep it standing. Use that sidekick that he uses so effectively, we've seen time and time again, to disable Curtis Blaydes. Because if he's able to disable that front leg, I think, you know, you're not going to see Blaydes shoot in on him as much. Kajo says he can't even make weight because he shits so infrequently. He's referring to Jones. He also says Blaydes beats Jones in the main event. Co-main is off as Sai didn't make weight. Kajo is popping one off a Sai. No way. Sai's in the other room at the moment. He's been playing Call of Duty. Yeah, talking of Call of Duty, Ash has been working hard on something at the moment. He might be able to bring to you guys, who knows. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit of a mini breakdown between those two options. Like I said, I think it's going to be Blaydes. I think it is going to be Blaydes. I think it's going to be Curtis Blaydes. Look, I'm not mad if it is Ngannou. But then at the same time, what do you do to Stipe? I mean, I guess if Jones fights Ngannou, then you do Stipe versus Blaydes. And I think that's probably a fight which the UFC could turn to Stipe and go, look, well, we offered you John Jones for this much. I'm afraid we're going to have to give you Curtis Blaydes for this much. And Stipe's going to miss out. If Jones fights Blaydes, however, I reckon it'd probably be interim title. Of course, why wouldn't you? Because it gives Ngannou a little bit more time to heal up and prepare himself, and then look, without a matter of time, you could do the unification bout. Really, I think that makes sense. Kajo says, "Is Ash reporting live from Frankie's wake?" Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Kajo, where have you been, my man? He's like, Kajo's been on the beers, he's slating Cyan Ash so far, and it's only me who's going live at the moment. This is insane. Ash is in the chat, so all you lot called me an idiot for picking Francis to be champ by the end of the year. Mud on your faces. I guess, yeah, we'll bring that round again. It's a good point. I completely forgot about that, Ash, to be honest. I know. I picked Surreal, and I was so confident with Surreal at the time. And we was expecting Francis Ngannou to sail off into the sunset with that deal. It's not happened though. I still don't know. I reckon Francis is going to sign a one-fight deal. I think, and it'll be that John Jones fight, and then he'll probably look elsewhere. You know, I think he's going to use that John Jones fight as a little bit of a leverage, really, because that is the highest fight that you can get for Francis Ngannou in that heavyweight division. Is John Jones, right? If he beats John Jones, or if he loses to John Jones, and he still wants to make bigger bucks in boxing, is there any point in you sticking around in MMA? There isn't. There really isn't. So I think that's probably the likely outcome of what's going to happen. That fight would sell, says that. Look, it would. And that's going to move me on to other things. We're going to come back around to this topic in just a sec. The other thing we're going to be talking about is we have a confirmed date for the UFC pay-per-view card in the UK. We still don't have any confirmation whether it's going to be London or Cardiff. A lot of people say Cardiff. A lot of us would hope it's going to be London, but it's probably quite slim due to weather conditions and Dana White shit himself. That date is going to be March 18th, which is, 2 weeks after UFC 285. Okay? So you could potentially have the return of John Jones in March and the UFC pay-per-view in the UK in the same month. What? That's insane. But there's going to be consequences that come with it. We're going to have probably some dire fight night cards in and around that. But we'll worry about that when we get to it. So far, there's not much that we know about in regards to this pay-per-view card. Obviously, Muhammad Mokaev is kind of previously alluded to this date before, and he's alluded to perhaps it being in London and things like that. So maybe he's heard a few things. I'd imagine he'll be on that card. I'd like to see Tom Aspinall on that card as well. Fingers crossed he'll be back in time. Not sure if it's going to be likely. Maybe as a co-main. I think if it's a UK pay-per-view, you got to stock it up. And I think Aspinall would kind of make sense, unless they save Aspinall for a fight night later on in the summer when they return back to the UK. Because look, we had 2 UK events this year, so perhaps they'll do the same next year. Fingers crossed. But if that's not going to be the case, I'd imagine maybe perhaps Paddy Pimblett will be on that pay-per-view, because look, he said that he's going to be put on pay-per-views from now on. Obviously, Molly McCann again. Got to come back, I think, to UK soil. It's the main event is pretty set in stone, isn't it? It's going to be Edwards versus Usman. Fingers crossed Darren Till stays healthy, and he could be on that card. He's got a tough test against Duplessis coming up next month, so fingers crossed he can stay healthy and get on that other pay-per-view card in London. Ash. Let's read this. Sorry, you're right. Funeral hasn't happened. Yeah, he's still ripping into Ash. It's a tortilla challenge issued to Sai. The UK stadium sold out. Oh, there you go. Kajo's got a new opponent in Sai. We didn't actually get Sai to do the tortilla challenge. We was in London last. So it was kind of a bit, quite surprising, really, wasn't it? Ash says, no, me versus you, Kajo. So look, they're going back and forth in this chat here. Mate, I can't wait until we can all meet up again. It's just, we need confirmation of the March card. We do. And look, it's going to put our minds to rest of whether it's going to be London or Cardiff. Because if it's Cardiff, here at ATF, we got to figure some stuff out. Who else do we want to be on that card? Let us know in the chats. I can't really think of... I'd imagine it'll be Jai Herbert. Probably the usual UFC London lot that we've seen in the past, really, I think. Maybe hopefully a few new names. But my last kind of question leading on to this is kind of one I've been thinking about recently. I say recently, today. Yeah, no, Nathaniel Wood, Ash. Yeah, it's a good part. Yeah, fingers crossed. Obviously, I'm hoping Nathaniel Wood will get a really good test at featherweight on that card as well. Yeah, the big question I want to ask is, and I'm wondering, I'm scared, with 2 pay-per-views being in March, will BT Sport charge for both of them here in the UK? Because they've charged as pay-per-view for John Jones pay-per-view in the past, done that, paid for it. You got UFC 286 is going to be in London. Are they going to charge for it over here? Maybe. I'd be a little bit scared. I would. Us Brits are going to be paying... Look, I shouldn't moan because I know you guys in the US, you pay a lot more than us. But look, when you've gone so long for barely paying for UFC pay-per-views, you get so used to it. You don't want to ever see that time where you have to pay for every single one. I'm sure you guys would feel the same. So, yeah, I hope we don't have to spend X amount of money in March on pay-per-views, but look, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Ash says, the image, Arnold Allen versus Max. I think a lot of people were actually calling for Arnold Allen versus Max as well. Yeah, I think it's almost like suitable. I think it'd be a featured bout. You know, it'd be third on the card. Surely it's not going to be a co-main for a pay-per-view. I know Max puts bums in seats, and Arnold Allen isn't like too much of a... I mean, he's getting there in terms of popularity, but he's not like the most popular of fighters out there on the roster. Max Holloway obviously is. So, and you know, Max, I think he's not falling on hard times. He's just not going to get another title fight. It was whilst Alexander Volkanovski's in the seat. So, yeah, I think a featured bout makes sense for that card. Spot on, lovely stuff there, guys. There's a lot of guys going off in the chat. But yeah, I mean, I think we've had a good show tonight. I forgot to mention this just as I'm scrolling down. I forgot to talk about one other thing, which was a fight announcement that got announced today. We'll talk about that a little bit briefly. Bobby Green versus Drew Dober. Some of us thought Bobby Green was cut. I didn't think it was going to happen. I'm glad he's not cut because I think I've said before, Bobby Green doesn't deserve to be. He's said a lot of praise about the UFC at times when the UFC has been bombarded with people complaining about fighter pay and stuff, and you know, he stuck up with them a little bit. Drew Dober was a tough test, of course. Going to be the smaller fighter against Bobby Green. Bobby Green's going to be the one that's going to be pressuring most in that fight. Drew Dober will probably want to likely get it to the ground. I like Drew Dober's chances in that fight. Now, we spoke to Mike Davis, two weeks in a row, but 2 weeks ago we spoke to him, and he said to us that they were looking to pair him up with Drew Dober. Obviously, that's not going to happen now, so we're going to have to kind of fish in around our boy Mike Davis for a little bit of an update at some point. But yeah, I think it's a good fight for Drew Dober personally. A vet in Bobby Green, it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, like I said, I think I favour Drew Dober in that. And that's going to be at UFC Vegas 66, December 17th. And who else is going to be on that card? It's going to be headlined by Cannonier and Strickland. Probably not the best of headliners, I must admit. Both guys coming off of losses against the two guys that fought at the last pay-per-view. Cannonier is going to be chomping down with leg kicks in that fight. Strickland's going to be all pressure. I quite fancy a Cannonier TKO in that one. I do. I think Strickland's chin might be a little bit suspect since he got knocked out by Alex Pereira. I don't know, we'll see. We've also got on that card Alex Caliceres versus Julian Erosa. That's a barn burner. We've got Jake Matthews versus Matthew Semmelsberger. Semmelsberger's been on the channel before. Ash gave that option to Semmelsberger in our Q&A. If you haven't checked it out, do check it out after this video. Because, yeah, he gave him a couple of options, and we were just fishing for his thoughts on each one, basically. We've got Sarukian versus Ismagulov on that card as well. I'd imagine that's the perfect co-main event for that. I don't think the card's all set, but we've actually got loads of banging fights on this card. Brandon Royval taking on Amir Albazi. We've got Julian Marquez is returning against Darren Wynn. We've got Miguel Cheyenne Velismus taking on Corey McKenna. That fight seems to be... We've been waiting forever for that fight. Manel Karp's going to be fighting David Dvorak. Sedna Nurmagomedov is against Sidikub Kokramonov. So, look, man, it's stacked. I tell you what, hopefully that's on a good time over here. I bet it probably not. It'd probably be about 3 a.m. But I don't know, fingers crossed. December's looking pretty juicy at the moment. pretty juicy. All right, let's get back to some chats then before I sign off real quick. We've got, I think these guys are probably arguing. Yeah. Kajo saying, running a bath. Oh shit, sorry. I didn't know you had your Dagestani pals around. Sorry to interrupt you. Man, Kajo's on fire tonight. Kajo's on fire. He's just slagging off all the ATF crew. Apart from me, of course. Mate, I think these guys might as well continue it on the in the Discord. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit a like on this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. And if you love talking about the sport of mixed martial arts, feel free to get in our Discord server. The Discord server is in the link in the description below. And also put the notifications bell on our channel, because we could literally be going live at any point to talk about the news like we did tonight. We could have all kinds of different content coming up, fighter Q&As, as well as some other juicy stuff. Who knows? You never know. All right, guys, don't forget to hit the like on the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm your host, JK, and hopefully we will see each other pretty soon. Good night. Take care.